the origin of the 5 magical races. Until recently, it was believed that a person as such, a complete Homo sapiens sapiens, originated in one particular region of the planet, most likely in Africa, from where he spread across the planet. But some anthropologists are leading towards a multi-regional theory of human origins. Russian academician Anatoly Derevyanko believes that at least 4 subspecies of Homo sapiens could relatively independently each other evolve from Homo erectus in 4 different regions of the Old World: Africa, Homo sapiens africanensis; East and Southeast Asia, Homo sapiens orientalensis; Europe, Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, as well as North and Homo sapiens altaiensis. According to our own ideas, developed in conformity with the paleoanthropology, the 4 types of ancient Africans, Neanderthals from Altai, Atlantic to Altai, so on. The northern one, Altai, Tibet, North China, and the southern one, South China, Southeast Asia, and New Guinea. Denisovans presumably interbred with another species of ancient human, unknown to modern science, who lived more than 30,000 years ago. Perhaps he was one of the descendants of Sinanthropus, a relative of the Shandun man. In this case, it turns out that it was not Homo sapiens sapiens who came out of Africa to of Eurasia, but only Homo sapiens in one of his, in this case, at the biological Cro-Magnon. However, there was not even a trace of a second signal system, Ivan Pavlov's term, at its level developed by a modern human, speech and abstract thinking. Later, setting in Eurasia, these archaic sapiens entered into symbiosis with another sapiens of other archanthropic populations, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and etc., who lived in the continent. But even on the territory of Africa itself, our ancestral Cro-Magnon did not remain intact as a primordial species, but crossed with local species of Eurasian erectuses and African ergasters. Hence, the secondary sapiensity of Homo sapiens, which turned the latter into Homo sapiens sapiens, manifested itself for the first time in the process of the second signal system evolution of the ancestors of modern mankind, relatively simultaneously on all 4 anthropic platforms: African, West Eurasian, Asian, Australasian. Secondary sapientization determines the deep difference of the proto-languages of all those populations in the psychology of the mental image and in the technologies of verbal suggestion. These 4 virtual ancestors could be symbolically associated with the 4 colors: black, white, yellow, and red. These are the 4 Adams of modern humanity. They correspond to 4 regional Eves, the most ancient great mothers, through which the magical heritage of the Archanthropus, including in the form of immunity to a number of infections and pathologies, was transferred to the male population of a double intelligent, that means sapiens man. Are they any descendants of pure Cro-Magnon without arcanthropic impurities on Earth? We believe this question is not entirely correct. Apparently, the Cro-Magnon, like double sapiens, appeared along with the development of the ability to articulate speech as the first species on Earth, fully deserving the name of speaking man, in Latin Homo logens. Apparently, if the multi-regional theory is correct, then the Cro-Magnons, in this sense, simultaneously evolved from Homo sapiens in different regions of the planet on different anthropic platforms. Later, the corresponding differences were embodied in various human races, while there is no direct linear relationship between the latter and the ancient Cro-Magnons. We are talking here only about the archetype of the phenomenon and not about its immediate biology or psychology. In this regard, we put forward a hypothesis of 4 magical races: Black Africa, White Western Eurasia, Yellow East Asia, and Red Australasia and Oceania, on the basis of which the blue sapient elite, sapiens, was obtained anthropic cerebral architecture and the level of its evolutionary development have more similarity with each other than between themselves and the representatives of their own racial and cultural population with a common ancient heredity manifested to degrees. This hypothesis of a multi-regional human origin postulates that there are 4 or more regions where the Proto-Cro-Magnon came into contact with the local species of Paleanthropus, which determine regional branches of the Cro-Magnon as a representative of the anthropologically uniform Homo sapiens sapiens. This is the origin of the specificity of the multi-regional formation of human culture, from the technique of stone processing and the method of burial to the peculiarities of speech and even mental practice, mentality. Culture of the most ancient Cro-Magnon clans, which had different totemic ancestors, is also different. This is an element of high cultural identity. Subsequently, this kind of hereditary spots were incorporated of the religious In that way, several schools of harmonious human development were each of traditions of one of the indigenous great mothers. Distinguish several geographical regions of dominance of the offspring of one of the 4 primordial male clans, representatives of mitochondrial macro haplogroups L, Eastern Eurasia and South America, N, Australia and Northern America, and R, Western Eurasia, Central America, and Andes. Each take out of the originally inhabited by Cro-Magnon. Eurasia in general, habitat Neanderthals, Western Eurasia, Sinanthropes, the Tibeto-Burmese and Sahul peoples, Papuans, Melanesians, and Australian Aborigines. The cultural and anthropological diversification of the reduced to four: Black, Africa, South, Red, Southeast Asia, and Australia, East, West. These four Paleolithic Venuses in different parts of the world of the magic of the later culture generated by them. Babies in her arms, one from a proto-Cro-Magnon hunter and other from Paleanthropus. Corresponds to the African ergaster and the male clan of haplogroup A. The red mother corresponds to the southern Denisovan and the clan D. Yellow to the northern Denisovan or Sinanthropus and the clan C. To the white, one of the Neanderthal and the clan E. In the center of the mandala of humanity stands the great mother of blue, the Cro-Magnon Madonna with a neanthropic infant, the son of man from clan F. His male descendants, the four Y DNA clans, so to say male clans, G, H, I, and J, were the bearers of the Neolithic revolution in the Fertile Crescent region and a number of adjacent areas. And the fifth clan, K, passing diagonally across Eurasia to Sahul, approved the Neolithic in New Guinea. All subsequent alphabetical male clans originated from Y-DNA clan K. They M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, and T haplogroups. In the Paleolithic era, all human and parahuman communities were matriarchal. That means grouped around the great mother who lived in caves with eternal fire, surrounded by female and child offspring. The men of the clan, growing up, left the mother's cave, joining one of the groups of nomadic hunters. It was the specific lifestyle of Paleolithic hunters forced to pursue animals over great distances and for a long time that led to the formation of the institution of exogamy, one of the first cultural institutions in the history of mankind. The prohibition of intimate relations and the encouragement of so-called guest marriage. Thus, in the relations of the women of the cave with the men who lived in it were prohibited, but relations with the alliance who brought meat and left the seed were welcomed. Apparently, among the guests, there were also groups of paleanthropists who also paid for the cave hospitality with meat and seed. Their offspring were brought up on a par with the humans one, and perhaps some of them echoed through the Cro-Magnon mothers to the level of biological Cro-Magnons. It is a different matter if a female Neanderthal carries from a Cro-Magnon man, After all, such offspring will be completely Neanderthalized and therefore will not receive a historical chance of survival through humanity-developed speech. It turns out that through women, the Paleanthropus entered the life of a modern man. Hence, Blue Adam and Blue Eve are the symbolic patron ancestors of true humanity. All these different groups of Homo sapiens were of various sizes, age, corporal proportions, and cerebral architecture. Nevertheless, in modern human, individual variability prevails over group one and individual character over collective identity. This is the result of the historical development of Homo sapiens sapiens as a distinct species in nature. Thank you for your attention.